Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1820A, and today's date is March 20th, 2019, and the title of the episode is Power, Control, the Setup, Beautiful. Now, don't you just love it when you find a $20 bill in a jacket pocket you haven't worn in ages, or a purse you've not used for a long time? Well, imagine this, finding hundreds of dollars in the papers that are sitting in your file cabinet. I'm talking about that old 401k paperwork. That money is sitting there doing nothing. Our friends at Noble Gold can cast an eye over that lost paperwork and see if you qualify for a precious metals IRA with it. So they're offering one of these special Morgan Silver dollars for all qualified IRAs above $20,000. So dig out the old paperwork and click the link below to get started on your gold IRA. Let's get into the economic collapse financial news. Now, today we have seen the full power and control over the Fed. The Fed right now will not be raising rates in 2019. Maybe they'll raise it once in 2020. Now, if we go back to what Q said, Q told us that their plan was to raise the rates throughout 2019 to bring down the economy in 2020. This way, the deep state would have an incredible chance of winning the election and changing things back to the way they were. Because if they were able to bring down the economy right before the 2020 election, well, that hits people in the wallet. People then would say, wow, we need something completely different. This is no good. This president destroyed the economy. Well, their plan is now stopped. It's not going to work. Who is in control? The Patriots. Who has the magic wand? Trump. But this brings up a very interesting point, because the United States, through manipulation, of course, the United States looks like it's doing fantastically. Unemployment, GDP, and it looks like the stock market is continually rising. Yes, it dips down every so often. So the United States is standing tall through manipulation. The rest of the world, the EU with all the different nations, Asia, it looks like that whole entire space is not doing well. Think about this for a second. Why would the United States be doing so well through manipulation, and the rest of the world, they can't do anything about it but expose how the central bank system is collapsing? We're going to be talking about that in just a minute. But first, let's head out to the UK. And we see May is out there, and she's looking for a delay. She tried pushing her deal, actually the EU's deal, through, and it was rejected twice. And now she's looking for a delay, but not a very long delay, or a long extension, she calls it. But we need something where people can talk about it, and then we can vote back, on my deal again. And I don't think that's going to work. And I don't think the EU is going to change the deal. I think the EU and certain individuals want the UK in limbo. And they're getting what they want. Now, what's very interesting, here in the United States and around the world, we've been seeing precious metals move up. And we know that the central bankers around the world, they like to manipulate gold and silver. And how do they do this? Well, they throw paper contracts at gold and silver. It's not really gold and silver. It's paper stuff they made up to say that this is gold and silver. So what happened? It looks like they dumped 1 billion of paper gold into the future markets. What did that do? It sent precious metals below 1,300. But if you notice something very interesting, every time they do this, the recovery time is shorter and shorter, which means every time they try to bring down gold and silver doesn't stay there. It pops right back up, which means they're losing some control here. And we need to understand is that these central bankers, They're trying to keep their system alive, but they're exposed. And like we've been mentioning, Powell, well, he is not going to raise rates. The Fed will taper its balance sheet roll-off, and this will be ending in September. And it looks like Trump and the Patriots have just controlled it all. Now, very interestingly, something happened, and I moved Q's post up to the economic section. This is post 3130. And in this post, Q gives us a link to the Daily Mail. And it says, "It is with tremendous sadness we share that Professor Alan B. Kruger, beloved husband, father, son, brother, and Princeton professor of economics, took his own life over the weekend." So this individual, Alan B. Kruger, decided to commit suicide. Who was he? Well, he served as the chief economist for the U.S. Department of Labor during the Clinton era and as the chair of the White House Council of Economic Advisors for Obama. So the question is, why did he commit suicide? Is he worried about everything being exposed, everything the government has done with the economy, with the central bank? Q says, start a list Q, which means we're going to see a lot more of this. Now, remember, Trump, he is undoing everything the deep state and the central banks had planned. He needs to bring back manufacturing. He needs to bring back companies. He needs to create as many jobs as possible. Because when this system goes down, which it will go down, and it's not the people's economic system, it's an illusionary system that the central banks made up. And Trump, what he's doing, he's battling everything the deep state, the central banks have been doing over time. They've been moving our jobs out of this country. They've been moving manufacturing out of this country. They've been moving companies out of this country because they were setting up their next system, and it wasn't going to be the U.S. The U.S. was not going to be the reserve currency. Actually, they wanted the United States to become a third world country. So he's undoing everything the globalists, the central banks have been doing. He tweeted out the following. Great news from Ford. They are investing nearly $1 billion in Flat Rock, Michigan for auto production on top of a $1 billion investment last month in a facility outside of Chicago. Companies are pouring back into the United States. They want to be where the action is. And that is his whole mission. It's not about keeping the central bank system alive and well. He's using the central bank system. He's using the stock market. He's using all of their weapons to bring America back to the way it was. He's going to use as much debt as possible to build or rebuild the infrastructure. He's going to remove a lot of the tax laws. He's going to remove a lot of the regulations that were set up. Remember, all these things were set up to force the companies out of America. He's bringing them back. And think about what is happening right now. FedEx has been telling us that the entire world is starting to slow. And they should know they deliver the packages all over the place. And we've been hearing from a lot of people that the global economy is slowing. Remember what the deep state and the central bankers have been trying to do. They were going to bring down the United States economy during the 2020 election. Why? Well, Trump has been tweeting out very often that the economy is fantastic. He's doing this on purpose because he knows that people look at the economy. People like when the economy is doing well, they feel good, and everything feels great. This is why he has the poll numbers now. The people are on his side. They're not on the side of the mainstream media. They're not on the side of the deep state. They're not even on the side of the candidates that are running because they can't say they have an economy that's fantastic. Think about what happened during the 2008 election. We had two terrible candidates. We had Obama and McCain. McCain thought the economy was doing fantastically, telling everyone it's great, it's great, it's great. Obama was saying there's problems, something's going to happen, and all of a sudden, everything fell apart in October. Well, McCain They didn't believe him because the whole thing fell apart, and he lost because people were like, okay, he doesn't understand the economy. Obama does. Of course, this was a setup, but you can see how the people react. Now, think about everything that we've been talking about and move it out to a global world. The United States right now is doing fantastically through manipulation, but a lot of people don't know this. A lot of the world doesn't know this. And the mainstream media can't counter the argument because if they call out manipulation, Trump, all he has to do is say, listen, hey, I'm using the same calculation we always been using. You're telling me that everyone before me was manipulating? So they're not going to do it. So right now we have the central banks. They're stuck around the world. The deep state individuals that are running a lot of the countries, they are stuck. They're completely exposed to whatever is going on now, and that is the slowing of the global economy. Now, if you're going to get rid of certain individuals, if you're going to get rid of the central bank, if you're going to get rid of certain leaders who are telling you that everything is fantastic, don't worry about it, what do? Well, you use the tactic that the deep state, the central bankers have used in the past. When you want to get rid of someone and they're running for office or they're still in office, you bring down the economy. You make them look really, really bad. So the people are angry. You hit them in their wallet. This is when people wake up. When people lose their life savings. When people lose their homes. When people lose their investments. People wake up. So think about the plan globally. The United States sitting on top looking fantastic. It won't look like that forever. Letting everything around it destroy itself. What does it really destroy? Now, is the entire world going to go into a recession, depression? Absolutely. The people are going to realize what is going on here. Wait a minute, the United States is doing fine. We have these leaders. We have this central bank, and the economy just failed. What do you think the people are going to do? Do you think the people are going to elect the same exact leaders? Do you think the people are going to say, you know what, the EU is doing a great job for us? The ECB is fantastic? No. The people are going to be angry. And it's already started. It's in Italy. People are saying, hey, we want to be separate and apart from the EU. The UK, we want to be separate and apart from the EU. We have Macron in France. He's in trouble. The people are protesting. All Europe and the rest, all it needs is a little push. The little push is a recession, a depression. To show what these people have done. Because nothing exposes these individuals than having an economy completely fall apart, where people are hurt financially, and maybe physically, we don't know. Trump will take this opportunity to start to maneuver to get rid of the Federal Reserve. Well, if they did that over there, then what are they going to do here? We have a bigger problem. Maybe we should take a look at what the Fed has been doing. Maybe we should audit the Fed. So this is not just a small plan. This plan is global. This plan is going to affect everything. And their plan, the whole entire strategy, is to go after those individuals who are still left in government. I mean, how do you drain a swamp the size of the world? You bring down the system. You drain the bankers. You drain the individuals that are in government. Because the people will be angry. The people will be pissed off. Because now they've lost their money. When people lose money, people they're completely brought out of their deep sleep. And they want answers. And the people are not just going to sit by and say, all right, do whatever you want. They're going to want to change. And Trump is going to use this. He's going to use this against the deep state, against the central banks around the world. So get ready, get prepared. A transition is coming. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.